time now for our CBS 21 Political Insiders. Tony May joining us for the Democrats, Charlie Gerow for the Republicans. Guys, thank you for being here as always.
Charlie, let's start with you and the governor's legislative agenda. What kind of situation is he in right now, especially with transportation?
Well, I think the transportation funding bill still has life, still has legs, and will get passed when they come back. The House, incidentally, is going to come back apparently next week, Tony, to try to fix up the fiscal code debacle
Yes.
that they left when they went home for a couple of days. But ultimately, the transportation piece, particularly when we see things like just occurred out in Washington State, is so important for Pennsylvania, not only as a matter of public safety, but as a matter of economic development and economic growth.
And I think Charlie's right. I think that if you take the transportation program freestanding and don't tie it to liquor modernization or any other issue, there's clearly enough votes in the Senate, 45 votes in the Senate, and there's a compromise position that can be found in the House, I believe, that could come up with a $2.5 billion highway program with transportation funding for mass transit that works.
If it's a standalone.
Right.
If it's a standalone, should all the focus be on transportation and liquor privatization be done with?
I think there will be increasing focus on transportation. I think there will be efforts to decouple it from privatization of liquor for a variety of different reasons, including some of the people that are for liquor privatization want to see it decoupled. But I think the transportation piece is the one that is more likely to pass. Tony's correct. The votes obviously are there in the Senate. They've already run it there with an overwhelming majority. But the votes are also there in the House by a fairly comfortable margin.
Okay, new subject. Let's talk about Obamacare, Tony.
That's a new subject?
The employer mandate has been pushed off for a year. So this has created a lot of buzz, especially from opponents of the Affordable Care Act.
Well, I think it's really hard to please some people who are never going to like anything that Barack Obama has fostered or advocated. I think that putting it off for a year is something that everybody thinks was a good idea 6 months ago, because the implementation with resistance from various governors, like here in Pennsylvania, it wasn't going to be ready to be rolled out. So putting it off a year gives us a little more time. A major change in the American way of life, it's not surprising it would take time.
Should it have been deferred as it was?
Not only should it be deferred, Tanya, but the best solution here is to defer it for the next 75 years. At that point, they can revisit it, see what they think. No, I mean,
Charlie's putting it beyond his lifespan.
Way beyond my lifespan. This entire package is a debacle of unprecedented nature. The wheels have fallen off the bus. Even the Obama administration now admits openly that they can't implement their own bill. They said, oh, we don't have enough time. They had 3 years. I mean, this didn't get passed yesterday. This thing is an overreach of a magnitude that we have never seen before. It ought to be repealed. They can start over. They can do health care reform the right way.
When you say they can start over, though, that's the whole problem, Charlie. You and others who oppose Obamacare don't come up with a suitable or workable alternative.
That is so much hogwash, we will say here on television.
Describe
the
a better plan.
Republicans had a basic agreement on most of the important aspects of health care reform prior to the Obama administration, who talked so much about bipartisanship, ramming this through without a single
Why don't they
Republican
move it to the House and put it up for a vote in the House?
They did. They repealed it.
No, not repealing, but replacing.
Well, it's going to be difficult to replace it while it's still in place. You've got to repeal it first and then replace it. And I think that what you're going to see is...
So you want to replace it with a pig and a poke, so to speak?
Tony, come on. You know better than that. You know that they had a plethora. We could go into them if we had a half an hour here, of specific reforms to the health care system that made sense, that met the needs of the American people where they live. But what has to happen now is either an outright repeal, I think that's the best course to go, or a systematic defunding of most of the key aspects of Obamacare. It is an unworkable mess. Even the Democrats are now saying it's a train wreck.
We've got to leave it there, unless, Tony, you have 2-second response.
Not true.
Now we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
And you can catch our Political Insiders every Tuesday here on CBS 21 News at 5:30.